It's Zach from Us versus Herd coming back today with another video. So, as well as trading, we also do personal finance. So, I want to specifically make a video on how millennials can start to save their first $1,000. So, this is an area of struggle for a lot of millennials. It seems to be kind of what we're known for not necessarily knowing how to save, not trying to save, just spending all they have, all they earn, or even just receive from their parents or whatever. Basically, we've had a bad reputation for not knowing how to save money, but knowing how to spend it. So I put together an extensive guide, and I'm going to go through each and everything and lay it all out for you, and tell you how you can also make your financial goals and save your first $1,000. Let's start small. Always start with a small goal like $1,000. So you can build on it from there. This guide is it'll help you save more than 1,000 if you carry it over, but let's try to get to your first 1,000. So first things first, you need an income. So if you're a student, or if you're not a student, you can do a part-time job if you're a student, or a full-time job if you're not a student. I would say that if you're not going to be a student and you do work part-time rather than full-time, I think you're wasting a lot of your potential. I wasn't a student. I'm still not a student. I worked full-time for a long time. So I still work full-time. I just don't necessarily work a full-time minimum wage job or an hourly job. So let's talk about what you need to do, where you can get an entry on that. So if you're looking for a part-time job as a student, if you're going to be serious about this, then you have to make sacrifices, and there can be no job that is below you. Okay, there can be no there. If someone gives you $20 to, mow the lawn, then take the money. Okay, don't ever say, oh, I don't do that. No, I don't clean bathrooms. No, I don't go out and hustle. I don't mow lawns, I don't weed, I don't garden, I don't shovel snow. Those things that you can make money on, don't ever say, no, I'm too good for that, because that is what's going to be your downfall. If you're serious about making money, you need to make sacrifices, and you need to be willing to put in the work. So, few places that have really easy entry, places like McDonald's, Walmart, Burger King. Go to a mall and work at a clothing store in retail. You can get a job, at like a Hot Topic or Express, or a Hollister, something like that. Those are entry level jobs that you can get in without any experience. You just got to interview well, dress well for the interview, and just say, hey, I'm looking to expand my experiences, and I'm looking to put in some work. And they will hire you if you interview well and you dress accordingly. You have to always play the part that you want to get in on an interview. So you have to make sure that you're not just saying, oh, I need a job because I need money. If you're trying to get a job at McDonald's or Walmart, Burger King, you're not going to just say, oh, I just need money, that's why I need this job. They're going to ask you why you want to work here. And you're going to say, I want to broaden my experiences, my horizons. I want to work harder. I want to learn how to do some of the things in this job. I'm interested in a career, something like that. Even if you're not planning on staying there long term, you need to show them that you're interested in the company as a whole and not just making money, because obviously they know that you're there to make money, but it goes deeper than that in the interview. But those are easy entry level jobs that you can get into. But like I said, if you're going to work in those retail or Burger King or Walmart, you need to apply everywhere. And I'm saying, like, if you want a job, don't apply just to one McDonald's, apply to 3, because they're not all, there's someone different interviewing you in all the places. So, apply everywhere and anywhere. And even if you get 1 callback or 2 callbacks or whatever, even if you don't get any callbacks and you can call them, I would say that, if you send out 50 applications and you call every single one of them back, and you're really serious about getting a job and none of them call you back, then okay, then do 50 more and tell me what happens after that. But I guarantee you at least one will let you in for an interview if they're hiring. If you apply to 50 places and none of them are hiring, then forget it. But if there are places that are hiring and you go there, and let's say you fill out 100 applications and you call every single one of them back, I guarantee you someone will call you back for a interview, especially if you're consistent and you call back more than once. That's how we all get jobs nowadays. It's either that, or if you know someone who owns a business, then it's, if you know a family, or your family's friends with another family that know someone who can get you in. Do whatever you have to do to get in. Okay, do whatever you have to do to get the entry level job, because this is step one. If you don't have income, you can't save anything. Obviously, you know that. So nothing can be below you. All these jobs, yeah, they're gonna suck. My first job was at a Culver's. I worked the dining room. I would clean up all the teenagers after they come over from the movie theater. I clean up all their ketchup. They'd stain the tables with ketchup, and they'd use all the ketchup, and they would get soda everywhere, and they use all your lids, and you had to keep up with that, and you had to keep all the tables spick and span clean, or else you're getting the hammer brought down on you. Yeah, that job sucked. That was my first job, but you know what? I stuck it out and worked there for almost a year until I got a better one. So that's just one thing that I would say, is that you have to be able to do the hard work even if it sucks. Our generation has trouble with that. They think everything's going to be given to them. They have entitlement, and even if they don't, they still have a hard time putting their head around working hard and putting the work on jobs that suck. They think maybe, I can work hard, but a job that doesn't suck. No, you're going to start out, your job's going to suck, and you're going to work hard. That's what's going to happen if you want to make it, okay? Start from the bottom and work your way up. You don't start from the middle and work your way up. You don't start from the top and work your way up. You start from the bottom. You scrub the floors. You scrub the mats. You mop. You clean the bathrooms. You clean up the toilets. You do everything you can. So that's just my one note on finding a job here. And then, so another idea for income. So these are ideas on top of getting the part-time job. So if you're working full-time, don't worry as much about these. But if you're working part-time and you want some quick revenue, so you could do odd jobs. So let's say like it's snowing outside and you want to shovel snow. Yeah, do that. Go around and see who wants their sidewalks shoveled, or driveways, whatever you can do. Sell things on eBay. Okay, so when I was in high school, I didn't have a lot of money. What I would do is, to be able to fund the things that I wanted to do, in high school especially, I would sell things, things that I didn't use, but also things that I did use. So like, I remember one year I wanted to go to prom. I had a Camelback backpack that they're really expensive. I sold that for like $50 and a bunch of other items to fund my prom, like renting for the tuxedo and stuff. Yeah, that I'm gonna say that's probably not the best thing in the world, is to be able to sell your stuff that you actually like use. But if you have something you want to achieve, don't say, okay, I want to go to this location. I want to go from A to B, but I can't get there. Just say, I want to go from A to B, and say, how can I get there, and find a way to get there. So for me, I was like, well, okay, I can't get from A to B, but maybe I can if I'm willing to sacrifice some things. There's always sacrifice involved with, building up from the bottom up. Like I said, you could sell anything on eBay, or you could go to garage sales or go to Goodwill, and you can buy things really cheap and resell them on eBay for profit. It's not going to be big profit, but it's going to be some profit. And you can do that as well if you're, handy at, finding garage sales or going to Goodwill and finding something like that, and being able, and checking online and seeing what you can get for it, and actually being consistent and profitable with it. That could be more than a side hustle. That could be your whole thing. It depends on how good you are at it. But like I said, if you're doing a part-time at, Walmart, and then you come home and you sell things on eBay, you're making good money there, and you're going to be able to have a lot more to save. So, the side hustles are good. If you have a car and you're old enough, you got to be, I think, 21. You can drive for Uber or Lyft. If you have a car and your own insurance policy, you can't be your parents. If it's your parents, they won't let you do it. I think you have to be 21. If you are old enough, you have a car, your own insurance policy, you pay for your own stuff, then yeah, do that. That's a side hustle. I mean, on the weekends when people are drinking, you could be out driving them home for money rather than partying with them. Go after it. And in the wee hours of the morning on the weekend when people are all sleeping or drinking, you could be, making money by driving them home, or whatever it is that you want to do. Or you could just drive them on the weekdays, whatever it is. You could do that. You could do that full time, or you could do that on top of your part-time job. These are just ideas on how to get income. So let's say you're let's use the circumstance that you're a student. You now have a part-time job and you do odd jobs for extra money on the side. All right, so what's next? Budgeting. This is going to be the most crucial point after you have an income, because this is the make or break section. So, one point, limit spending. Basically, if I were to boil it down, that means the amount you spend doesn't exceed the amount you make. Yes, you're going to have to do some math, but it's just basic adding and subtracting. I think you can handle it. So here's what we're going to do. Starting off with a few points. If you live on your own, you have rent to take care of. So let's say the first thing you do is pay rent. Let's put that in perspective. The first thing you're going to do is cover your essentials. So paying rent is going to be the first thing. And then you have your groceries that you're going to want to get. So when you buy groceries, buy them from somewhere cheap like Walmart. And when you do buy them, buy the essentials and buy them generic brands. So a cool tip is I was told from someone who works in the industry that at Walmart they have a contract that says any generic brand that they sell at Walmart has to be the same quality or better than a non-generic brand. And they have that in the contract, so that's a must. So basically what happens is a company makes a brand for Walmart to sell as a generic brand, and their product has to be at the same quality or better in order for them to be put on the shelves at Walmart. So if everyone has a Walmart near them, if you don't, then find the cheapest place like an Aldi or something, a discount place. Go there, buy your groceries, and buy them generically. Some generic brands suck. Like if you go to like Jewel or whatever, some are terrible. But if you have like a Mariano's and you buy Roundy's, or you go to Target and you get Archer Farms, those are good generic brands, good quality, and good price points. That's gonna lower your cost substantially. So when you purchase groceries, by the way, you're getting the essentials, okay? You're not buying anything you can't afford to have. Like if you think you can afford to have those chocolate chip cookies, you're wrong, okay? Buy the things you need to survive, and if you have a lot left over, maybe buy a couple cookies or one thing of cookies and let them last a couple weeks. Like a Chips Ahoy or something. But if you're not looking at anything that you can't bare bones it. So this is the bare bone approach. You're going to buy the things that you need to survive. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're going to buy foods. You're going to buy eggs for breakfast, something like that, bread, milk, all those things that you're going to need, and then sandwich meat or something like that. Don't get fancy, okay? This is a bare bones approach, because if you don't have a lot of money, especially if you're living on your own, then to save money, you need to limit what you spend on just the essentials. And those essentials better be the cheapest things that you can find without the quality being turned down, okay? Another thing is, I know this is going to be a struggle for majority of people, especially millennials. Me being a millennial, I'm 22 years old. I get it. I know you want to spend your money on eating out, okay? I get it. But you cannot eat out every day. You cannot eat out every day, especially an expensive meal. Like you can't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner and buy it all out. You're going to be spending like $20 to $30 per day. And if you do that, do the math on that, that's hundreds of dollars per month that you're spending just on feeding yourself. And that's something so trivial that you can just go to the store and just put a little bit of time into learning. You can make anything for a fraction of the cost. I mean, you go somewhere and you buy like a egg sandwich or something, you can make that at home for pennies. I mean, you have a dozen eggs and you have a loaf of bread, and those cost you a few bucks here and there, especially if you're buying the cheapest ones you can find. And you just made your egg sandwich for pennies instead of buying it for $3.45 every morning. $3.45. That goes for like coffees. We're gonna talk about it right here. You gotta cut out the luxury items. So like, on top of eating out every day, expensive coffee. So what I mean by that is, if you're gonna buy coffee, which I think coffee is good for you to keep your mind sharp, but if you have trouble waking up and all that, if you're gonna buy coffee, do not go to Starbucks. Do not even go to Dunkin' Donuts. If you have to purchase it out, you absolutely have to go to somewhere like McDonald's that offer $1 coffee any size in the morning. if you're gonna do that, but I would even say go further and go to Jewel or something and buy Folgers. Yeah, it's not gonna be the best quality, but it'll get the job done, and that's what we're going here. We're just trying to get the job done and save. Once you have money saved, a lot money saved, then you can, afford to splurge once in a while, but not every single day. You cannot afford it. Even if you don't live on your own, you can't. You think you can afford it, but you can't. You're never gonna meet your financial goals by spending money on eating out every day and having expensive coffee. So another point on that, more on luxury items. I know millennials especially, they like to drink on weekends and they like to drink alcohol all the time. They like to have their craft beers and their expensive whiskeys. Listen, if you're gonna be saving your first $1,000, if you're going to be really serious about your future and meeting your financial goals, you cannot be going, I know I'm going to sound like the worst guy in the world, but it's going to sound like no fun, but that's the thing. Discipline sucks. But in the end, it's more rewarding. So you can't go out on the weekends with your friends, okay? You just can't be drinking alcohol and buying $10 beers and $4 shots. You can't be doing that, especially every weekend. Maybe once in a long while if you absolutely have to. But I'm going to say that you shouldn't be doing it at all. It's a waste of money, a waste of time, and a waste of energy, okay? I'm sick and tired of seeing millennials saying, I can't afford to pay for my car payment, or I can't afford anything. And people say, oh, why don't you just work harder? You know what? I'm sick of those guys who are saying that people who say work harder is not the solution. You know what? It not only is it the solution, but you need to cut your spending. Your problem is that you spend money on stupid things, okay? Stupid things like going out with your friends and drinking beer all night and getting drunk. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy, and you're wasting your money that you don't have, okay? And if you're smoking cigarettes and you're saying, I need these. No, you don't, okay? That's a luxury item. A lot of the world doesn't even have that. They can't even afford to feed themselves. And you know what? You're smoking cigarettes. Those are things that you can't. $10 a day, okay? If you smoke a pack a day, it's $10 a day, roughly, depending on where you live. But where I'm from, in the Chicago area, cigarettes are roughly $10 for a pack. If you smoke a pack a day, that's $70 a week. And if you multiply that by 4 weeks, that's $280 a month. If you're broke, okay? If you're broke and you're spending money on cigarettes and alcohol and expensive coffee, yeah, there's a reason why you're broke, okay? And if you're gonna go to the store and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy some soda too, forget it, okay? Soda is a sugary drink. It has no nutritional factor, and you don't need it, okay? That's a want. That's a luxury item, okay? You don't drink it because you need it to survive. A lot of people only have it because it tastes good, okay? It doesn't have nutritional value. That's a luxury item. You gotta cut it out if you're going to meet your financial goals. You're gonna maximize your income and minimize your expenses. That goes another thing. I know a majority of millennials, I think it's like something crazy now, like 65 to 70%. I think it's like 60% of millennials have tattoos now. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have them. I'm just saying that if you're broke, don't be spending money on things like tattoos when you don't have money to feed yourself. If you're young and you don't have a family and, you can't even feed yourself, imagine how it's going to be when you're with your family and you have kids to feed and you're getting tattoos for $100 and you can't afford to feed little Timmy his breakfast, okay? That's going to be terrible. You have to take the risk while you're young, and you have to be disciplined while you're young so that you can move over that skill set later in life when you have more to take care of, okay? This is basic stuff. And I'm not saying this because I'm perfect at it, but I'm saying this because I've done these things. When I got my second job working at a Starbucks, okay, which is a harder job to get into than most entry level job. That's why I didn't say go get a job at Starbucks, because it's kind of hard to get in. But if you can get in, great. It pays well. But basically, the idea is like when I was working my job there, I saved a ton of money. I mean, by the time I was my age now, 22 or 21 even, I had $5,000 saved. Okay, and I didn't go out. I didn't party. It did help a little bit that I got discounts on. I get free coffee every week from working at Starbucks. You get perks like that. So that helps out with like things that you like coffee. But I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't drink a lot of soda. If I do, since I live at home, since I lived at home, if my parents bought soda or whatever, that's fine. But I didn't spend money on it personally. I didn't go and buy 24 pack of Coke or whatever. And then tattoos, and not say I do have some myself, but I didn't spend the money when I had $300 left. I spent it when I had $5,000 saved, and it was an extra. It was something that wasn't, it's not a necessity. Those are luxury items that a lot of the world doesn't have. So if you are able to go without them, then you'll do better in life altogether. And that goes also for new technology. I know, I get it. I love technology too. I love the new iPhones. I love Apple Watches. I mean, those are great. I mean, you need basic technology. So if you need a smartphone, then, buy one and then buy it outright and then don't upgrade, okay? You don't need to upgrade every time. I know it sucks to hear. It's not going to be easy to do any of these things, but they will be rewarding. So basically, if you want, buy an iPhone, okay? Or buy an Android, whatever you want to do. But make sure that item's going to last you a long time, because you're not going to be upgrading for a while. If you're broke and you're trying to save your first $1,000, you're not going to be getting the iPhone 8, okay? I'm sorry. You're not going to get the Apple Watch version 3, okay? You're not getting all these things. You're not getting any of these things. You're not getting a brand new laptop, okay? You're trying to make it by with what you have. On that point, don't buy expensive clothing. You can go to Target and Walmart. I know it's not the greatest clothing. It doesn't look the best, but you can make it work, okay? You can make it work. It's cheaper and it won't cost you an arm and a leg. Don't buy watches. Don't be buying crazy things that you can't afford. If you have $500, don't spend $300 on a watch. If you have $500, don't spend $60 on some pants or a shirt or whatever. It's just outrageous. You can minimize cost here. People always, millennials always want the expensive brands. You're not going to be buying any Gucci or Louis V or Coach or anything like that. You're making sacrifices. That's the way it's going to be from now on. And from here on out, if you're serious about saving your first $1,000, you're going to make it a priority. Because I'm sick and tired of millennials saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. And here they are spending all willy-nilly. They got Coach purses for females and they got all this crap that they don't need. It's unnecessary. On another point, if you're spending money on vacation travel, okay, you can't afford that. If you're just doing it, you're spending money, I need a vacation. No, you get a vacation when you have $5,000 in the bank. That's when you get a vacation, okay? When you can afford to lose a little bit of money and have some fun, that's when you can have a vacation. But until then, in my head, you haven't worked hard enough to get that vacation. You just don't have, you don't deserve it. If you're working all day and you still have, and you're still budgeting and you're saving money and you still don't have enough money, then there's some other bigger issues there, like you may not be able to live on your own, or you may be spending in the wrong categories and you might be doing something wrong. But no one who's good with money has ever been broke for their entire life. Let me say that again. Somebody who is good with money has never been broke for their entire life. It just doesn't happen. The people who are broke their entire life are financially irresponsible, and they continue that pattern throughout their entire life, and they take it with them wherever they go, and they spend their money, and they make more money, but they spend more money, and they keep spending more and more, and then they're in debt, they're in credit debt, they're in student loan debt, and they can't afford to pay off their mortgage, their anything, okay? They can't afford it, and it keeps getting worse. This is destructive financial habits that our generation is exhibiting that we need to clear up right away, or else we're going to have a hard time living life later on. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but I'm saying is that this is the best way for you to save your first $1,000, okay? And so if you're spending on gas, you're going to want to go where it's cheapest. So for me, I don't know if you guys have this where you live, but I have a Sam's Club membership. That's like the gas at Sam's Club. I mean, you do pay like $30 every year for the membership, but believe me, you're saving a lot more than that in gas. Sometimes it's like 30, 40 cents cheaper. 30 to 40 cents cheaper per gallon. Not talking about altogether. 30 to 40 cents per gallon cheaper, okay? Unless it's really far away. It doesn't make any sense for you to drive 30 minutes to a gas station that's 20 cents cheaper, okay? You just spent that money driving. You wasted that gas. So, it's got to be in the vicinity, okay? Find where it's cheapest. And unless it's really far away and it's not worth it, then you're not going to be keeping any more money. You're just going to be losing it by driving further. That's another thing. If you do have a car payment and your car is like 2017 or 2016 or brand new, I recommend trading that in, and because that car payment is going to be extensive, and getting a used car that's a lot cheaper and older, and you'll be able to pay it off a little bit better. that'll also help you save money. So if you go into here, the third step is to save, okay? We did 1, income, 2, budget, and 3, save. So what does saving look like? Open up a savings account. If you have only a checking account, you're more tempted to spend it if it's easily accessible. So open a savings account and put in some excess money. So after paying all your bills and buying your essentials, deposit the remaining money. So like I said, the amount you spend shouldn't exceed the amount you make. Okay, that's the way to do it. It sounds simple, but in practice, it's a lot harder. I know. So open up a savings account, and then when you pay all your, so let's say you live on your own and you have rent. Pay the rent, buy all your essentials to live, and put aside some money for gas or whatever you need, but nothing that you don't need. Remember, nothing that you don't need. If it impedes on you going to work or getting to work and doing your job, then that's an essential. But if it doesn't impede your work and it's just an extra, you should not be buying it. Okay? Do not buy it. After paying all your bills, so you have rent, car payment, insurance, utilities. After you've paid all that and you bought your essentials and you bought them at Walmart or somewhere cheap and you've bought them generically at that location, because that's going to save you a ton of money, then you will deposit the remainder, even if it's $100, even if it's $25, $50. You keep doing that every single month, and you will see it grow slowly but steadily, and you'll be on your way, okay? It's not going to be 100% easy. It's going to be hard. I know that. But it's not something that you can just mess around with. When you're old and you can no longer work and you say, man, I wish I didn't buy that 2017 car, that iPhone 8, because I'm so broke now that I don't have a savings account and I'm retired and I'm living off of Social Security that you probably won't even get. Let's be honest, you probably won't even get Social Security. But let's say for the sake of it, you did get Social Security, you get 12 grand a year. Congratulations. 1 grand a month is your remaining when you're 65 and you can no longer work. You can barely feed yourself on one. That's below poverty level. You're getting food stamps at that level, okay? It's hard, but it's going to be much easier later on in life, and you're going to be able to do well in the area of personal finance. I'm teaching you because I've seen my habits and I've corrected them, and this is what works, okay? I'm bringing to you the most direct approach, simple. It's a very simple approach. It's simple, but it's not easy. I understand that. It's easy to understand, but it's hard to put in practice. Just start small and start cutting things out slower and slower, okay? That's important. All right, so basically another point too is to overestimate your expenses, underestimate your income. So like if you're not going to write down your budget on paper, which I highly recommend you do, but if you really don't need to, like for me, I keep my budget in my head, and that's something that works for me. But if it does, I don't recommend that for beginners, okay? If you're new to personal finance and you're just trying to save your first $1,000, write out your budget and do the math on paper, okay? But if you're going to be doing it in your head, like for me, always overestimate your expenses and underestimate your income. So like think that you'll make, say that, oh, okay, if I round down, that's how much I'll make this month. And then for expenses, round up. That way, when you make more than you actually had and you spend less, then you're going to have more remaining money to deposit to your savings account, okay? So like I said, an overview: income, find a job, do odd jobs, sell things on eBay, garage sales, do whatever you can, okay? Side hustles, do all you can. Budget, okay? You have to buy your groceries, buy them cheaply, get them generically, don't eat out every day, make sure the amount you spend doesn't exceed the amount you make sure you're not buying $4 coffees and you're going out every weekend, spending money partying on alcohol, and you're smoking a pack a day on cigarettes, and you're drinking 5 sodas a day, and you got a full sleeve of tattoos, and you got iPhone 8, and you're struggling to make it by here, and you got Louis V shirts and stuff. That's your problem, okay? That's just the overview. And you're going on European vacations, and you're buying your gas where the closest one you can find. Okay, this is the biggest part of it. You have to budget so you can save. Open your savings account Make sure that you're depositing the remainder after you get all your essentials, all your bills paid every single month, and overestimate your expenses and underestimate your income. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Please like the video if you do like it. Comment, ask questions. We will answer your questions. Do subscribe. We do come up with content quite often. This is a different topic in the realm of personal finance, especially for millennials. Me being a millennial, I understand the struggle. And just remember, guys, it's always us versus herd. So join us.